Made Fresh, 96.7 The Beat, Terry J and Jazzy T with you. Got special guest in the studio. I'm going to let her introduce herself, drop us her boss title that she got going on. Hello.
Hi, I'm Janee Bolden. I am the Senior Content Director at Interactive One.
You're I'm sorry.
Pop Culture.
Say that again. Give me that title again.
Senior Content Director of Pop Culture at Interactive One. So I run editorial strategy for Bossip.com, hiphopwire.com, and globalgrind.com.
Wow. So
That's super cool.
All that fit on like a business card?
I actually still am running around with managing editor business cards because I had a whole bunch of them still. And honestly, when I do TV appearances and stuff like that, people still just go with managing editor of Bossip because it's the largest brand of the three.
Right.
And I was with that brand exclusively for almost 10 years. So
wow.
It's just kind of, that's more what I'm known for. So I'm fine with that. If it's easier for you to say managing editor of Bossip, you could say managing editor of Bossip.
So what's some daily things what are some daily tasks that you perform through your job? Because your title sounds like you got a lot going on and people come in.
Busy.
Exactly.
I mean, it's definitely very busy. I get up no later than 8 in the morning. I try to get up a little bit before that, check out what's going on in the news. Sometimes I'll get alerts at night, so I already know going into the day what the day is looking like. It's all about what's trending. What people are talking about, whether you're talking about Twitter or the local news or the national news or international news. And so it's 3 different brands. Bossip is the priority brand. We pump out more content than any of the other sites at the company. So you're looking at maybe 50 pieces of content per day. That's a lot. If you think about 50 different stories on a website. So in the morning, we go really hard. We typically have like 20, 25 stories up in the morning. And we want to have them up, when people get to work. So they
have something to read.
Exactly. They have some reading material, stuff to talk about. And it's a good mixture of trending topics, the things that people are talking about on Twitter, maybe some exclusive news. I try to make sure I'm getting regular exclusive interviews. You guys know how that goes. Like
absolutely.
Sometimes you have some good ones or you have some timely ones. Oh, this film is coming out. This record is coming out. Let's save this one. First thing Monday morning, we could put that out. So that kind of thing. We want to have a good mixture of exclusive content, aggregated content, trending topics, and social.
So let's go back a little bit because I saw that you graduated from NYU.
I did.
So was this always the goal, being a manager, editor?
No, not at all. I'm actually, people are surprised to always hear I'm kind of an introvert. I grew up very nerdy. I love to read. All I did was
I saw
read.
Iowa City on there. Is that true?
Yeah, so I went to junior high and high school in Iowa.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So I was born in Davenport, Iowa. So when I saw it, I was like, no way. There's nobody else from Iowa.
So actually, I dated a guy from Davenport because
Quad Cities.
Davenport has a few more black people than Iowa City.
Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
Just a sprinkle.
Sprinkle more.
It's a couple more. So when I was in high school, that was probably the big thing. It was like, there's no one here for me to date.
Nobody's
Like the whole, when your first dating experience are interracial, it's interesting. And I think I did really get into hip hop culture just because I wanted to be around my culture and I wanted to absorb it wherever I could. And there wasn't really that much of it. I mean, when I'm telling you, my high school was probably maybe 20 black kids and it was like 1,500. It's a big high school. So like 1,500 kids and there's only like 15 other kids that look like you. And
he was like, yo, you Hispanic, but yo, you black today. Like we all got to stick together.
No, for sure. We definitely was accepting. We had some half Asian folks that we hung out
with. You got the
with.
little Indian kid in the corner. You're like, yo, come over here now. Stop playing.
We took the white kids that like rap music. Like we had a whole black table, but everybody wasn't black, but it was the black table.
Hilarious.
And so going to NYU, I
wanted to get as far away from Iowa as I could. So when I visited NYU, actually they recruited me very heavily. So like I said, I was a nerd. I was very into school. I graduated a 3.85 from high school. I had really good test scores. I was the only National Achievement Scholar in the state of Iowa that year. That's all based on your PSAT and SAT scores. And I had scholarship offers like literally anywhere. Like if I had stayed in state, I wouldn't have paid anything. If I had went to like another state school, say like Oklahoma State or something like that, but you couldn't get me to go to Oklahoma after, after 6 years in Iowa.
You're like, nah, we're not doing this again.
Yeah, NYU was a great mix. It was a opportunity to be at a great liberal arts school that had a mixture of different studies that were available, because I always knew I was interested in the arts. I was not sure when I was applying there if I wanted to do the liberal arts thing and be a writer, or if I wanted to go more towards performing, because I did always like the idea of writing screenplays and performing and acting, those kind of things. I wasn't as confident in my acting skills as my writing skills, so that's why I decided to go the liberal arts route. But I did do some dabbling in the other schools when I was at NYU, and I definitely hung out with kids who went to all the different schools. NYU's a bunch of different colleges in one, so it was perfect for me, honestly. And I would say the city gave me just as much of an education as college did, and it's
nothing like New York City.
Definitely nothing like it. And then I've always had a passion for, like I said, our culture, so I minored in Africana studies, and NYU's one of the few places that has like that option. So I had some great professors, Robin D.G. Kelly and Trisha Rose. They're very well known actually in that African American studies realm. So and we're going to get back to a little bit to your work, and I'm going to ask you the question, like with the temperament of I feel like there's YouTube, there's Instagram, with Twitter, with all social media capturing information and putting it out there. How hard is it for you guys to capitalize on moments and make it your own, and also competing with other news outlets as well? Yeah, well, I think the thing about us is like, I don't think any of us necessarily look at it as a competition, because I think that when you start looking left and to your right to see what other people are doing, you can't focus on what you're trying to do. So I think that's the thing that I've always tried to instill in my writers, and I know my editors have always instilled in me. So it's kind of just find your strength, be really strong in your own brand and your own voice. So especially with Bossip, we have a really strong brand identity. We're known for our headlines. No one is killing the game like we are with the headlines. We have the New York Times recognition to prove it. So that's what I would say as far as competition. But I would say I totally get what you're saying with all the different lanes that are going on right now. We are part of Interactive One, so we have a very strict legal system, and we're not. We can't just be screenshotting stuff and comment creeping or some of these
creating burner accounts.
Yeah, there's none of that to be tolerated where I work. So most of the time it's all about like making sure it's legit.
I will say you are definitely way more professional than other ones. If you go in, it's clean, you see the caption, then it's more so like a click here for more.
Right.
No clickbait.
Cool. No clickbait.
No, exactly. And also like I have a little bit more of a journalism background. So I worked freelance for many years for Double XL magazine, The Source magazine. I did some work with Vibe.com, with SOHH.com, and was known more as a hip hop journalist. So I have a lot of ties still. My network is pretty strong, and most of the time if something happens, I'm quick to get on my phone and reach out. Who do I know that's close to the situation, who can give me some clarity on what's actually going on? Because sometimes if you see the news that's out there, it's not always the truth. I'm not going to name sites, but I will say some places are known for getting stories fed to them. And I think that runs
What does that mean, to get a story fed to you?
Well, say you have a label, or I don't want to call out the labels, but there might be like a person
Somebody
of interest, somebody, someone of interest, and their team will say, oh, I know somebody over here. Like, let's just give them, we're going to send our receipts directly to the outlet. And that happens all the time. And I mean, it happens with big entities and small. So, when ABC News has a big source, it's the same thing. It's no different. The media, when you hear people talk about the media and how powerful it is, it's very real. It can get twisted. It can be ugly. There's all of the things that you hear. There's definitely, I could tell you stories to back it up. But, one thing I would say, I didn't get to where I got to from telling everything that I know. A lot of it is from, sometimes you got to know when to shut up.
You say that. All right.
Let's talk hip hop.
Okay, let's.
So what you're listening to now, because so much music has dropped for the past, I say 2 weeks, over the course of 2 weeks. So what you listening to?
That's hard. YBN Cordae for sure.
Okay.
Let me see. The women, I'm loving the women's movement in hip hop. Tierra Whack, I've been listening to like nonstop.
Did you listen to The Gift?
I did listen to The Gift. I actually just listened to The Gift yesterday. But you know what? The Gift actually made me go back and listen to Everything Is Love.
Okay.
Because it was like making me want to hear certain songs off of that, which I love that project. And I spent a lot of time this weekend listening to Jay-Z. So I'll go back and listen to old stuff all the time. So literally this weekend I listened to the Dynasty album.
Okay.
I had a debate with somebody about whether or not Jay-Z has dropped a bad record. So I had to go back and listen to Kingdom Come because that was
I love Kingdom Come.
I went back and I was like,
I was about to start thinking about it. I was like,
there's some tracks on there, but if you look at some of his older stuff, there's tracks on all of those where you're like, they're kind of shakier, questionable.
But not bad.
but they're not bad.
Yeah, and nobody wants to talk about the project with He Who Shall Remain Nameless, but there's that as well. That might be the bad project.
Which one?
The one with Aura.
That's not a bad project. I'm sorry. It's not a bad project.
It's spotty. It has its moments.
But it's still no bad song.
Not everything aged well. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
That's fair.
Not everything aged well. But I will say, like, I enjoy doing stuff like that, like being a hip hop head and being able to go back. But
the bass are everything.
Under the radar, not being talked about as should be, artists of 2019.
Oh, that's kind of hard. I definitely would say Chica, or Anika on Instagram. She's somebody that I really like. Who else is kind of under the radar?
I know we putting you on pressure. You just think about it.
So Lucky Day is one of
amazing.
Yeah, like that is a perfect album as far as I'm concerned. Levin Cali. Who else? My homeboy put me on to Toro Imoy.
There's going to be a lot of people
I feel like
who are like,
start researching like, what? I need this list.
I definitely listen to like obscure stuff, and because of kind of when I'm working, I don't necessarily listen to hip hop. I might listen more to like R&B music. So I definitely listen heavy. I've been listening heavy to Ari Lennox. Baby Rose is a new artist that's coming up. She has like a crazy voice. But I think she's going to be really big and kind of fill that lane. I don't know if you remember when Chrisette Michele was first coming out and everybody was hyping her up.
Absolutely.
This is like, that's what I think Baby Rose is going to be, because she gives you that voice that makes you think about like a Nina Simone or Amy Winehouse. Like she has that jazzy, and it's like a deep voice. Like, and when you see her, you wouldn't expect it because she's like very little, and I mean, she just has like this sweet young face, but then this voice that comes out,
you're like, wait a minute now, hold on.
Yeah, but she's on the Dreamville project with actually with Ari Lennox. That song Self Love is the Best Love, which is one of my favorite
Shout out
tracks.
to Ari. She was in the studio not too long ago with us.
So I would say the Dreamville project too, as far as like new stuff that's come out. I've been listening to that.
You might or might not be able to answer this, but the most overrated or oversaturated of 2019.
I don't really see. I don't. So that's just negative to me. I would say.
I mean, because there's got to be like, when I listen to music, I'm like, oh my God, this song, I don't know how it made it, or like, I respect that they've made the hustle of getting there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how is that? Am I the only person that does not vibe with this song? And it's cool to have personal opinion.
I mean, what's yours?
So mine, I think we was talking, was it YK Osiris?
Worth
It? I just don't know. You just gotta be worth. I just feel like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I would, but I mean, I don't even think he's on my like radar like that. So where like I know exactly what you're talking about as soon as you said it, because you actually can kind of sing. Yeah, you might have.
Please don't tell him that.
Okay. All right.
I'm not worried about y'all. Okay. I appreciate the positive vibes.
As soon as he said that, I knew. I mean, I guess what comes to mind is like, I love Megan's movement. I'm so happy that Megan Thee Stallion is getting the attention that she's getting. I mean, I love that she has strong knees. I love that,
Why did it click a second later? I was like, strong. Oh my God. Okay.
But, like, I just want to see more balance, because I think it's there, and I think she shows love to all the artists, but I just wish that all the women got that same kind of love, and that it didn't have to be like
a competition.
Yeah, or even just like they're like the hot girls thing is great, but like we're not all hot girls. Like some of us are, show
some of us are girls, Monday through Friday working girls.
Some of us are like medium temperature girls, mild climate. We like the AC.
We all like sriracha out here. So, Michael, well, do you find that, because I feel like even on the male side of things, there's a competition. Like,
definitely.
So why is there seeming to be a problem with women when you start comparing? Because my next question would have been, supposedly Megan and Nikki might be or might not be working on a joint project together. And then instantly in my head, I'm like, ooh, who would have better bars? Like, who would really bring it? Like, I always think about that because when
So
I
we
think
talked about this earlier, and I was telling him, why do we have to compare?
because
Why
I think
can't it
when
just be
Drake
a
hop on
good
something,
song?
when Wayne hop on something, I'm
You
like,
compare Wayne to Drake.
I compare
Yeah.
everybody in their bars.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I just think it's like something you have to be careful of because I think especially with women, what gets tricky is people use certain things as marketing tools, especially like image. Even just whether or not women get along, like if you look at how the whole thing played out with Nicki and Cardi, that was something that wasn't necessarily started with them, but like every little thing started.
Adding
was so
up.
ugly.
It added
It
like
was so
fuel to the
ugly.
fire, and it was definitely ugly. And the other thing one thing I would say that I like about it is like you're starting to see a movement where the women are really getting together, and they're like,
Galvanizing together.
JD's talking about. Then you have these other female artists who don't even come from the background that JD was talking about.
Absolutely.
And they're like, listen, you're not about to talk about
Right.
us, and they're
Don't do
all
that.
saying something about it, and I think that that's great. And I personally, just as a woman from this culture and in this culture, I think it's great anytime we're having a conversation, period. So period,
Period.
So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, and I definitely think for these women to work together is great. Any artist, I would say you always got to kind of be careful because, especially as a young artist, that the older artists, what they're supposed to do is keep you around so that it keeps them hot, and at the same time it gives you credibility.
Absolutely.
So I would tell her to make the most out of the situation, but tread lightly because we all know about how
Things can go south real quick.
Real
yeah.
quick.
But when I think about it right now, when I think about new music,
right.
I think the women are really holding the torch when it comes
Oh, we're
to
holding it
music.
down, for
when
sure.
it comes to singing, when it comes to rapping,
For
because I
sure.
look at the new music being put out, and to me personally, I think like the baby might be, for me, leading as far as males go, but as far as women, you have so many strong
Well,
women
all the
voices.
babies are doing great.
All the babies.
All
the
the
whole
babies are doing
nursery is
well.
doing great.
The whole nursery's great. All the Lils, all the youngs,
Everybody's
the
doing good.
babies, Lil Baby. The Young Thug is still out there being Young Thug.
He's still
and-
being Jeffrey. Yes.
Yeah, he's still being Jeffrey.
So what's next for you? So because I know you mentioned you freelance. So would you ever go back into maybe working for yourself?
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I've never stopped working for myself. If you notice, I have this chain, Curl Mob. So I have a lifestyle brand that's all about empowering natural texture hair. So I'm working some in the beauty industry. Bossip actually had a TV show on WeTV it started about 2 years ago. So I was on the first season of that show, and that helped me fall in love with production. So I love being in front of the camera, but I also love producing content. So right now I'm working on producing some content. I have several pots on the stove, so I'm not necessarily ready to announce anything yet, but I would say look for me to be doing some things.
So you're gonna be coming back, is what
Coming
you're
back
saying.
and telling us.
You're gonna be coming back and rolling, telling us what you
I'll
got
be
going
coming
on.
back to roll out some of the projects that I'm working on now, and definitely like I still freelance a little bit. I definitely have to clear it, make sure it's okay with people. But from time to time, you might see something in Variety that I've written. I've written a few things for Black Enterprise. Just when it makes sense, and I see something, and I'm like, that won't work for one of the brands that I write. That I manage.
Yeah.
But if I have a little free time, let me
You
work
can scope
on
it out to
this.
somebody else.
Exactly.
What some advice can you give younger journalists?
I would say just do it, because I think a lot of people get caught up in like, I can't find anywhere to intern, or I can't find anywhere to work, or, and I think getting paid for your work is really important. But I think that, doing the work and doing it well is just as important. And honestly, like, you'll get the attention if you stay consistent. So there's so many ways that you can do that, whether it's starting your own blog, doing a vlog that's on YouTube, if you write on Medium, all of those things. And especially because we have social media nowadays, if you think about there's a lot of poets that really came out of that social media era, that whether they were writing on Tumblr or writing on Instagram, and really made a name for themselves, and were able to take it and parlay it into other opportunities. But I think we're in an age of entrepreneurship, so don't wait for somebody else to give you something. Definitely
Get out there and do it.
Yeah, and definitely when you see things that are going on in your local community, like, everybody loves like a hometown story, a homegrown hero. So definitely like get out there, make sure the people who are in your community know what you're doing and what you're interested in. And I think networking is key. Like I know I always, every opportunity that's come to me has been because of someone who knew me and trusted me and could say like she does good work, she's a good person. I think that being a good person is just important as being good at your job
what you do.
too. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that people, I always keep the Maya Angelou quote in mind, which is people will forget what you said and forget what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
So you want to leave people with a good feeling and keep a good energy around.
With that being said, those listening to you, and I'm sure you have people who are listening right now, like, I want to research this sister and, connect with her or just follow her on her socials. Drop those for us so we can know, so the people can know.
So my Instagram is my full name, Janee Bolden, which is JaneeBolden. My Twitter is Janee TMB. It's just last initial. So Janee, Janee, and then T as in Therese, M as in Moore, and B as in Bolden.
Okay. Well, make sure y'all follow, support the sister because she's doing big things.
Too,
Absolutely.
So.
Drop that.
It's also my name. It's just JaneeBolden.com.
Okay.
So.
Boom.
There we go.
And follow Curl Mob Official on Instagram
and
and
talk
Twitter.
about these curls because we got that one over there. We got
beautiful hair. Yeah, her hair is beautiful.
We might have to do something, because I always hear her talking about, I don't know what to do with her hair. Like, oh my, today was a struggle. I'm just glad I got this done. I'm like, oh wow. So she might need that help.
All right, we can talk about it. I didn't know what to do with mine either until I went to college and Mama was not there to press it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Now you got to figure it out. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We
Thanks
appreciate
for having me. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy. You guys were really good. You're well prepared and
We try to do our thing.
yeah, nah.
We try.
Nah, y'all good. Y'all real good.